Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and this is my 4th Annual Wasteland Reviewer Awards, and I'm super excited about this. I love doing this every year, and what I do is I get all the major categories from the Academy Awards. I don't have the shorts in there, but for the most part I have everything else. And I pick my own nominees and I pick my own winners. I'll be doing my Oscar video that I usually do next week, posting the day of the Oscars, but here we go. So I'm only going to take about a sentence or two to describe why I picked each of these nominees, but we're going to start off with Best Documentary Feature, and my nominees are, we have Echo in the Canyon, which is a great deep dive into a wonderful time period of music with some great performances in terms of music, and Jacob Dylan doing a fine job carrying this documentary. 5B, which is about the first AIDS ward in a hospital, and there's some ambitious filmmaking in it and powerful stories. One Child Nation, which was one of the big ones from Amazon coming out this year about China, and there's some really hard emotional moments. Honeyland, which was a really ambitious documentary because it felt like a narrative, and somehow it's shockingly just beautiful and striking and such an interesting story with some real drama, because it was a documentary. And then my winner, The Biggest Little Farm. I absolutely love this. It made me feel every emotion. I laughed, I felt emotional, I could have cried at a couple moments, feeling for this family and their farm, this couple, and I felt some thrills, and I felt joy, and I felt sadness, and it's just, this really packed it all, and it was such a wonderful story. So, go check out all of these documentaries, but really go support The Biggest Little Farm. Foreign language films. So this is going to be interesting, because I also have Honeyland on here, because it was a foreign language film. I Lost My Body, which will be popping up as somewhere else as well, this foreign language film. It's an animated film. Manos, which is a great, militant version of The Lord of the Flies, and so strikingly created in terms of filmmaking. Pain and Glory, which gives Antonio Banderas one of the best performances of his life as basically the writer and director of the film and this semi-biographical picture. But my number one, which it's really hard to argue against Parasite at this point, because this is one of the most ambitious, impressive, twisting, and unexpected and surprising and shocking films of the year that has so much to say about class warfare, and it's just such a great film. Bong Joon-ho is really impressive. There's two categories, and I will admit, I cheated, and I just picked my winner, and that's it, because I felt like there was two categories that were just clear-cut. Like, hair and makeup, this might be controversial, but it's like, Joker, if it wasn't for that, that's a whole that's what makes us iconic. And it's such the selling point of this face. And what they were able to create in terms of what Joaquin Phoenix has to offer and what makes it striking and memorable is that makeup. So I'm giving that award to Joker. Costume design. I have Little Women, really well done period piece. Joker, his outfits are pretty impressive, honestly, and then there's Jojo Rabbit, which really captures the garb of that era in Germany during World War II. Knives Out, I loved everybody's clothing in this movie, and the use of colors in it, and what it says about everybody, so great. But I have to double check to see if this is even nominated for the Oscars, but Rocketman, them capturing all the crazy outfits that Elton John wears, and just that personality that he brings to everything, I think is so special, and them being able to recreate that's really important. So I would give it to Rocketman. Now, production design. Also have Rocketman. All these wonderful musical set pieces that are crazy and colorful and all these different kinds of things. I think that was really fun. I put Avengers Endgame because there's so many different worlds and places that they travel through, and they did such a great job of recreating some of the best of the MCU and some memorable spaces and different kinds of things. Little Women, which they really captured, from a technical standpoint, they really captured that time period so well. Put The Lighthouse, and might seem weird, it's very minimalist, but there's so much personality in this little island and how it was created. They definitely use models at points and different kinds of stuff like that, and it felt so lived in and impressive, but nothing felt so engaging and lived in and tangible as 1917, because I felt like I could smell the death everywhere, and it was just so powerful and poignant. I'm giving production design to 1917. Visual effects. This is really going to shock you. I did not have The Irishman on here, and the reason I don't is because it didn't really work all the time. And, like, you're trying to make somebody look like they're 20-something year old and they look like they're 50. I don't think this worked as well as they thought it was going to, but it does work in the scenes where it's more subtle, like shaving off like 10 years or so. But like other times, it really does not work. But I'm not going to talk about what's not nominated. I have 1917 because the practical effects are really, really impressive. I put Spider-Man Far From Home because the elemental battles and the climax of that film are really ambitious and cool ideas, and they really needed their effects to work. And also the fact that there's so many in-film special effects, and it was really impressive. And then Ad Astra, which was so put together really well and something special. The Lion King, which that looked real a lot of the times. I know they didn't really show a whole lot of emotion, but like they looked real. And yet again, I'm giving this to Avengers because they should have won this award last year just for Thanos. Could make the same argument. But the special effects in this, like, look at Hulk. And how he looks so much like Mark Ruffalo and feels so tangible as a character. The special effects are amazing. So I'm giving it to Endgame. Film editing. 1917. Keeping up that pace is really important, and how they make sure that that film's put together. There's not a whole lot of edits, but when they happen, they're very important. John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. One of the best modern action films I've ever seen, and they really need to utilize the editing to put this all together, and they really should. I've got a nomination. I put The Irishman because putting together a 3.5-hour film and making it zip by a lot of the time like that, that's some impressive editing. Knives Out, there's so much energy in how the story is told and how shot to shot to shot to shot. But I'm giving this to Ford v Ferrari because this was an engrossing, impressive film dealing with all those racing scenes are so thrilling. And you feel like you're in the car with them, and the editing was done so well. I'm making a statement with the Best Original Song because there was some serious BS that Glasgow from Wild Rose was not nominated for Best Song and is by far, leaps and bounds, the best song made originally for a film this year. And the fact that that didn't get nominated, this is my only nominee. Because there doesn't need to be any. Because honestly, it was a really pretty disappointing year for original songs. It's like I would have given, well, it's unfair. I appreciated a lot of the songs in Frozen 2, but like this song is so great and is emotionally satisfying, feels like an actual song, and I could listen to it every single day and not get bored of it. Yeah, Glasgow should win. Now, original scores. So, I put Thomas Newman for 1917, and we have the score from Ad Astra, which was really impressive. The score from, honestly, Uncut Gems. I was really impressed by that score. And then the score from The Lighthouse. But yet again, I'm giving this to Alan Silvestri because there's not a single other piece of music this year that I could play and feel so emotionally satisfied and making me emotional. I get goosebumps every time I hear this section of the score, Portals. He should definitely win. Animated films, I have Claws from Netflix, which is a beautiful little film. Frozen 2, I loved Frozen 2 a lot more than it seems like a lot of other people. Loved Missing Link. Leica is such an amazing animation production company, does not get enough credit because this film bombed. Toy Story 4, damn. And this was by far my front runner for almost all of this year because they did it again. They captured it in the bottle again. But my number one's I Lost My Body. This is a really impressive animated film from Netflix, from France, and I absolutely loved it. You should go check out I Lost My Body right now. It's on Netflix. Now I'm going to admit, Best Adapted Screenplay, I was finding it hard to really pick my top 5 here, but for a Best Original Screenplay, there's so many great ones, and it was so hard to try to pick something, but for Best Adapted, honestly, I gave it to Marcus and McFeely for Avengers Endgame. What they were challenged with and what they were able to do was so impressive and ambitious and pulling all these stories and these characters together. And then Steve Zalian for The Irishman, which is a really impressively written film and dialogue and just epic kind of film. Todd Phillips for The Joker. And Joker's one of I feel like that's the kind of film that's going to be talked about for a long time after this year. Greta Gerwig, who does such a great job modernizing this Little Women adaptation and making the ambitious choice to change up the storytelling and the ordering of the film. But hands down, Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit, because this is next level kind of emotional acrobatics and being able to make this work tonally, and the dialogue is sharp and hilarious. But 100% Taika Waititi for Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, Original Screenplay. This one was really tough. And it was really tough narrowing this down to 5. But I have Noah Baumbach for Marriage Story because it felt so real and just engrossing. The Safdie brothers for Uncut Gems because this is a really impressive dialogue, really impressive deep characters, and a thrilling story. Bong Joon-ho for Parasite because Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Parasite's one of the most unexpected, ambitious, crazy stories that I've heard all year. And then I would definitely give it to Roger Max Eggers for The Lighthouse because some of the dialogue, being able to make that work in that time period dialogue, and some of the monologues in it were so impressive, and this is spiral of madness that they were able to create in the story. But 100%, I'm giving this to Rian Johnson for Knives Out because this was the sharpest, funniest, most impressively done script, especially in terms of dialogue of the whole entire year. I was so impressed by Knives Out. It was so original, and all these characters had so much depth, and it was so subtle, and with the detail, everything coming back. Now, cinematography, which this is usually my favorite category, and Dan Lawson, yet again, I'm giving it for John Wick, because yes, yes, yes. The cinematography in John Wick movies are so impressive, and the past two are next level. Trent Opalaku, I'm giving this for, this is going to surprise people, Avengers Endgame. There was some striking imagery in that film. That shot of Cap looking across at all of Thanos' army and standing one man, and just that long shot of the Avengers assembling after the portals and all the portals in the background, just so visually striking and beautiful. Hoyt van Hoytema for Ad Astra. Beautifully shot film and just strikingly beautiful and really capturing space like a 2001: A Space Odyssey or Interstellar. And then we have Jaron Blaschke for The Lighthouse, because one of the most ambitious pieces of cinematography this year, with the aspect ratio, with the black and white, and just everything is like starkly striking. But come on, Roger Deakins again, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. What he did with 1917 and that camera work and making that actually work and being engrossing and impressive and more than just a gimmick, hands down our winner. Now we're getting to the interesting ones. We got our actors, our directors, and Best Picture left. Best Supporting Actress. This is going to shock a lot of people. There's two that might shock people. Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah, for Dr. Sleep. I felt like she was on a next kind of level in that film and delivered a special performance. It's always interesting to find one of those performances from a horror film or a thriller, like a John Goodman from 10 Cloverfield Lane that I gave Best Supporting Actor to a couple years ago. But like, Rebecca Ferguson was really impressive. Laura Dern for Marriage Story. I don't feel like I have to say much about that one. She's picking up so much attention. J-Lo for Hustlers. I would give it to her. She really deserved it. And then Hong Lu for Nai Nai in The Farewell, because you can't tell me a more endearing character on screen this whole entire year than little Nai Nai from The Farewell, and that was all that performance of that actress, and really impressive. But I'm giving it to ScarJo. I remember sitting in Jojo Rabbit, and that scene where she's portraying her husband and having that conversation with herself, thinking, this is the best I've ever seen her in any film. And this was one of the most special and engrossing performances from a supporting actress I've seen all year. That's why she deserves this award. Best Supporting Actor. Brad Pitt stole the show in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with his effortless cool. Tom Hanks, as Mr. Rogers, he captured that spirit of Mr. Rogers in the most poignant of ways. Sterling K. Brown for Waves, because some of the emotional heavy lifting he has to do in this film was unbelievable and so impressive. And then Taika Waititi for playing this crazy, imaginative version of Hitler, playing this tightrope of being a silly, comedic character and underlying evil underneath every single word and every single sentence. But I'm giving this one to Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse, because I could watch that one monologue and the cinematography, the framing of the shot, the lighting up here, and him looking mad as hell, and just everything. He is so creepy, so unnerving, and so mad in this film. It's an absolute delight. Best Actress. Lupita Nyong'o for Us. I absolutely loved her performance in Us. There's a raw just energy about her performance in this film. Jessie Buckley for Wild Rose. I absolutely adored her singing, her acting. She made me care about this character who honestly was pretty unlikable, but she just brings her all, and I absolutely adored it. Aisling Franciosi for The Nightingale. And I honestly wish I could put Jennifer Kent's film on more of these categories, but it was a really strong year. But that leading performance from Aisling in this was really impressive. She did some crazy emotional heavy lifting in this film and played a very powerful performance. Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. My girl. Absolutely love her performance. And she brings a special kind of energy, her and Timothée Chalamet, who I really wanted to put in Best Supporting Actor as well, because their energy thrived in Little Women. But I'm going for it. ScarJo. She deserves both of these acting nominations for women this year, because she was and I'm going to talk more about Marriage Story, absolutely emotionally powerhouse in this film. And I loved every moment she was on screen. And It's not usual for me to fall so deeply in love with a basic human drama like this, but the performances were next level. And ScarJo deserves both these nominations, and honestly, both those wins. Best Actor. Taron Egerton for playing Elton John. He really captured it. Absolutely beautiful performance. And played a crazy, over-the-top, larger-than-life person and really was able to do it. Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker. What a haunting performance. And next-level kind of performance. Antonio Banderas for the best performance of his career. And this emotionally powerful and subtle and strong performance. Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems. Because, my God, that performance was something else. And really, he carried that film on his back and brought something special and makes me want to see more of that. But I'm giving to Adam Driver because Marriage Story had the best two leads in the same movie, and their emotional back and forth with each other is emotionally exhausting in the best ways possible. Best Director, Rian Johnson, because I'm giving him this nomination because Knives Out is such a singular vibe, atmosphere, and just feels so unique to him and is so captured in such a meaningful way. Sam Mendes, he did something special with 1917 and being able to carry that film the way he did. The Safdie brothers, I can't tell you another film where I felt so tense and on the edge of my seat, and they were able to do that with their impressive filmmaking and Uncut Gems. Bong Joon-ho. I've talked a lot about Parasite already, and he did something special with this film. This is going to be a film talked about for a long time, and I'd actually be really happy if that won Best Picture, because I think it would be an important win, too. But Taika Waititi for Best Director, because he, like I mentioned before with the screenplay, he did a tightrope walk and nailed it every step, and he confidently walked across that tightrope and didn't bat an eye about the tone and the humor and the messages and just how much this was a Taika film, and it was so special. And then my Best Picture nominees, my top 5 films of the year. I already did my whole video on this, so I'm not going to delve deep into them, but my nominees, Knives Out, Parasite, The Lighthouse, 1917, and my winner, Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit picked up quite a bit on here, but it was a special kind of film. And I feel like this is going to be a film that's going to last a long time because of its universal themes of conquering hate. But this was a great year in film. I love doing this, and thank you all for always supporting my channel. It was really special getting past that 100 subscribers finally. So hopefully 200, 300, maybe 1,000. That would be pretty cool. But thank you for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer, and I really appreciate the support. Check out all of these wonderful films that released this year, and I hope that some of you pick out films that you didn't get to see, but you heard about me talking about in this video. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.